Goodie Grammar. I cannot thank you enough for joining me on this Whoa Wednesday, where we're going to go ahead and talk all about infer versus imply. What do they mean, Mr. Goodie Grammar? Great question, and I cannot wait to go over it this evening. So, without further ado, let's jump into it. As a quick reminder, here's our agenda for this evening. We will start with the basket breaker, followed by talking all about infer versus imply. Then, of course, employee assistance, where I will test you on everything you learned about infer and imply. Then we get, of course, to our little quiz at the end, and then the Grammar Goodie sentence shout out of the week. Oh, these shout-outs go to Grammar Goodies that post into our comment section, regardless of the platform. And they get a shout-out on our Whoa Wednesday and other social media platforms. Did you win it? Did I win it? Did my cat win it? We'll find out, so stick with me until the very end. Alrighty, let's go ahead and do a basket breaker.
Uh-oh.
For this week's basket breaker, the question is, how do you communicate information to others? How do you pass on different news, concepts, lessons, anything? How do you communicate information to others? Go ahead and take a second and plop it into the comment section. Alright, I'll go ahead and give you my answer. Well, I usually start with a linear story, going from point A to point B in chronological order. However, somewhere along the line, it starts going whoa all over the place, because I'll go on irrelevant tangents. Yeah! Giving every little specific detail in, I don't know, fluffy figurative language. And then I'll just follow it up with random noises. Bah! Right there. That's how I communicate information. How about you? Make sure to post into the comments section. Whoa! Alrighty, moving on to our next part. We're going to go ahead and drink up some radioactive waste.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, our essential question for this evening is, what is the difference between infer and imply? Huh? What's the difference between these two words? How do we use them? By the end of the evening, you will be able to answer this question. And again, it's a commonly confused type of mistake, right? Where people don't necessarily know the difference. But by knowing their function, we're going to go ahead and make it that much easier. And I want to go ahead and start with the word infer. Infer. I-N-F-E-R. Infer. But what does infer mean? I'm so happy you asked. Well, basically, infer means to deduce or conclude information from evidence and reasoning rather than from explicit statements. It basically means to arrive at a conclusion, to go, I'm going to take all this into consideration, and I'm going to infer something about that. I'm going to come to a conclusion due to me inferring. Woo! And just to make it a little bit easier, here are some common synonyms for the word infer. Conclude, surmise, and deduce. Coming to a conclusion. Oh, I get it now. And some antonyms to throw in there, so just think the opposite. Misunderstand, neglect, and, more importantly, inconclusive. You can't really infer anything. You don't come to a conclusion. So that would be an antonym. Pretty cool, right? Let's go ahead and see how it's used in a sentence. He inferred that Mark broke up with Stacy because she tossed herself on the floor and began sobbing about her descent into loneliness. I feel you, Stacy. I feel you. You'll notice in the sentence that he is the one inferring. He is coming to a conclusion that Mark broke up with Stacy. How did he come to that conclusion? How did he infer that? Well, she tossed herself on the floor and started crying about her own loneliness. I do that all the time. So, here, he inferred this because of this evidence. Ooh! Let's go ahead and look at another example. He inferred that the Kool-Aid man was the culprit of the crime because there was red powder all over. The murder weapon. Dun dun dun! Kool-Aid man, why? In this example, he, once again, is inferring that the Kool-Aid man is the culprit, the killer in this case, right? That's the conclusion reached. How? Oh yeah, due to evidence, the murder weapon. So, he is coming to a conclusion, he is inferring that the Kool-Aid man is the culprit because of the evidence. Whoa! So, I just don't want to talk all evening. I want to give you a chance to practice. So here's what I want you to go ahead and do. Go ahead and use infer in an original sentence. And plop it into the comments. Think you could do that? Use infer in an original sentence? I know you can. Get to it! Whoa! Grammar goodies! How did your sentence come out? I bet it's magical. In fact, if you love your sentence so much, go ahead and put it into the comments section. Well, we went over one of the concepts for this evening, infer. But we need to get to the second word of this evening, which is the word imply. Imply. I-M-P-L-Y. What does imply mean? Let me go ahead and show you. Imply means to strongly suggest the truth or the existence of something, but not explicitly. In a sense, it means to express something indirectly. It's going hint, hint, nudge, nudge, realize this, but you're not explicitly saying it. You're not directly saying it. Just think of it like this. When you imply something, you are the speaker. You are the one providing the information. So if I am implying something, I am the speaker communicating something. I'm implying something. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Oh, do you get this without saying it directly? Cool, right? And some synonyms for the word imply are suggest, hint at, and allude. Why do we go over synonyms, Mr. Goody Grammar? Well, if you're trying to decide, can I use imply in a certain situation, use a synonym in its place to see if it works. A more understandable word, where you're like, maybe suggest might fit here. And that makes sense to me, so I can use the word imply. On the flip side, though, we have some antonyms. Explicit and direct. To imply does not mean state it directly. Like me, I aggressively state things directly. Alright, I'm also delusional. But it's important to know antonyms because if you wish to contrast the word imply, you can use these. Whoa! But I want to go ahead and look at how it is used in a sentence. Here it is. Dave implied that he was too tired to continue the hike, but did not state it directly. Therefore, his friends forced him to continue. Oh, Dave, I understand you. Hiking is not my favorite activity, and my friends force me as well. But just state that you don't want to go next time. It'll save everyone a lot of time. See? That's the issue here. Dave implied that he was too tired to continue. Implied. He suggested or hinted at the fact that he was too tired to continue, but he didn't state it directly. Therefore, he had to continue to hike. So in this case, you can imply something, and sometimes people aren't necessarily going to pick up what you're putting down. Let's go ahead and look at another example. Christy implied the notion that Chad stole the chocolate bar, but her assertion and explanation were not clear enough to understand. Christy! So Christy suggested the idea that Chad stole the chocolate bar. But guess what? She implied it. She didn't directly state it. And the reason why is that her assertion and explanation, they weren't clear. Since they were implied, they weren't stated directly. So, sorry, Christy. Looks like Chad might have gotten away with that chocolate bar. With that in mind, it's time to practice. Here's what I want you to do. Go ahead and use imply in an original sentence. Make it funny, but make sure that you're using the word imply correctly. Think you can do that? Use imply in an original sentence? I know you can. Get to it! Whoa! And grammar goodies. How did it go? I don't want to imply the notion that you did well. I want to directly state it and say, you crushed it! And if you absolutely love your sentence, make sure to put it into the comment section so you can receive a shout out on a later episode. Pretty cool, right? Yeah. Well, I think it's time for some employee assistance. Let's get to it.
We need some employee assistance.
Here's what I want you to do for this week's employee assistance. You will be given various sentences. What will you do with those sentences? Oh yeah. You are going to decide between infer and imply to fill in the blank that appears in the sentence. Again, each sentence will have a blank in it. You need to decide whether or not to put infer or imply into the blank. Be one or the other. And keep in mind, you want to choose the most appropriate word based off the context of the sentence. So, fill in the blank with either infer or imply. And let's do it! Question 1. From the given evidence, he blank that the chocolate bar melted from the blazing heat radiating from the car. Here it is again. From the given evidence, he blank that the chocolate bar melted from the blazing sun. radiating from the car. Oh, the heat is too much. So, fill in the blank with either infer or imply. And post your answer into the comment section. What will it be? Okay, I'll go ahead and give you the answer. The correct answer is infer. Infer. Well, how, Mr. Goody Grammar? Well, from the given evidence, he inferred. An individual took the given evidence of the melted chocolate bar and came to a conclusion. He inferred that it melted due to the blazing heat in the car. Right there, inferred, again, means to come to a conclusion from given evidence. Hopefully you got it down, because we're going to question 2. Question 2. He blanked that he was confused, but he was too embarrassed to admit to his teacher. Again, the sentence is, he blanked that he was confused, but he was too embarrassed to admit it to his teacher. Aww, always speak up for yourself. And speaking of speaking up, why don't you speak some beautiful things into the universe by putting either imply or infer into the blank. Take a second, think about it. Okay, I'll go ahead and give you the answer. The correct answer is imply. He implied that he was confused, but he was too embarrassed to admit it to his teacher. So, he indirectly hinted at his confusion, but his teacher didn't pick that up. Because he was too embarrassed to directly admit it. So he implied that he was confused, but didn't say it directly, so his teacher had no idea. Oh, sad. But you know what isn't sad? Your answer! Great job, Grammar Goodies. Let's go on to question 3. Question 3. I blank that pirate ships are suboptimal modes of transportation because they're old and full of cannonball holes. Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. I'm not a pirate. But what I would like you to do is fill in the blank with either imply or infer. Put it in there before those rapscallions and pirates take it away. So, imply or infer. Okay, I'll give you my answer. The answer is infer. I infer that pirate ships are suboptimal modes of transportation. So I came to a certain conclusion. How? Well, because pirate ships are old and full of cannonball holes. So here is my reasoning, and this is what I inferred from that reasoning or evidence. Cool, right? Alrighty, let's go to question 4. The witness blank that the Kool-Aid man committed the crime, but the jury could not convict the sentient drink because the witness did not directly identify him. What? Use the context of this example to determine whether or not imply or infer work best. And let me reread that sentence while you're trying to figure it out. The witness blank that the Kool-Aid man committed the crime, but the jury could not convict the sentient drink because the witness did not directly identify him. Take a second and determine whether or not you should put imply or infer into the blank. Great! I hope your answer is absolutely incredible, because here's my answer. Imply. Imply. The witness implied, so suggested or hinted at the idea that the Kool-Aid man committed the crime. But the jury couldn't do anything about it because the witness implied it, did not directly state it or identify the Kool-Aid man. Oh, I love the Kool-Aid man. So unhinged. Like me. Hopefully you got it right. So, with that in mind, I think we need to do an aisle check. For this week's aisle check, here's what I want you to do. Go ahead and create an original sentence that uses both infer and imply in it. Can you use both of these words in one sentence? We'll find out. And once you do that, do not forget to post it into the comments section. That's how you become a Grammar Goodie. And that's also how you get a Grammar Goodie sentence shout out of the week. But for right now, I think it's time that we check out for the evening. Just a quick reminder, we have the Word of the Week every Sunday, live sessions every Wednesday. What are those called? Oh yeah, they're called Whoa Wednesdays. Content episodes out regularly, of course sentence shoutouts out regularly, and if you want me to teach something specific, let me know. I want to make sure that we have a Whoa Wednesday with your wants. Oh, and now I think, it's the time you've been waiting for. It's time for the Grammar Goodie sentence shoutout of the week. Whoa! The Grammar Goodie sentence shoutout of the week goes to individuals or an individual or individuals that participate in our comments section, that practice these grammar and vocabulary concepts. So, who won the award this evening? May I have a drum roll, please? The Grammar Goodie sentence shout out of the week goes to Twinfield, 5th and 6th grade. Both of you. Whoa! Congratulations. Twinfield, you are an academic institution that absolutely crushes it each time for our Whoa Wednesdays and our vocabulary videos. Let's go ahead and look at the examples that each class and grade put into our comments. The first example here is from the 5th grade at Twinfield. So, I have a deep trepidation after my dad poops and I forget my hairbrush in the bathroom. That happened last week. Happened to me too. And my father had chili beforehand. You've never experienced anything like that, have you? I have. 5th grade, fantastic job. You used trepidation with such precision. Hesitation, concern, worry, trepidation. I feel that too if my father's pooping everywhere. So absolutely fantastic job, Twinfield 5th grade. You do it all the time. And moving on to the second shout out, which comes from Twinfield 6th grade. I love the epic battle between them. Twinfield 6th grade had this. As I climb under the bed, the portal opens, and I feel slight trepidation as I fall through the galaxies of pain and destruction. Oh, so you fell in through the portal that basically characterizes my life. Fantastic job there, 6th grade, because 1, trepidation is used correctly, and 2, this is such a funny example. This is the type of example that you would see in a general grammar episode. So keep it going, 6th grade. You have me laughing for sure, just like the 5th grade. So, great job to both Twinfield 5th and 6th grade. Whoa! You did it. Alrighty. With that in mind, make sure to follow us on any of our social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and of course the website www.mrgoodygrammar.com, where you can sign up for exclusive content, videos, worksheets, PowerPoints, and so much more. Tons of stuff that you can't just get on YouTube alone. Alright, now that cheap plug's over, I think it's time to realize something. Realize that you're about to go on a journey, Grammar Goodies. Anyway, my name is Mr. Goodie Grammar. Thank you so much for dropping by General Grammar for another Whoa Wednesday. And come in anytime. I'll see ya. Whoa!